We're going to talk about the same things tonight. Rudy and I. He was just here. First of all, I just want to say what a delight it is to be here at Rochester. I want to thank the student board for putting 2 plants on the stage. I'm sorry, 4. I feel that it really gives more of a tropical ambiance to What is for you? Is it this? What is it? Is fuck like straight up like this? You have to spell it out? Dude. This is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna learn how to sign every dirty word I know. You guys, are you getting some good shots? Because this is as good as it gets. This is, later on there is some nudity. So. I think my wife would disagree with those hoots, as it were. We'll put this over here. How's your Brick City weekend going? Is it That is very little enthusiasm for Brick City weekend. That was very much like, Brick City, you know, whatever. Are you getting good shots? How about a little of this? Maybe a little of this. What is this? Are you guys with the student papers or with the, what's, where are you with? University Press, that's the publications, it's one of the top publications in Rochester. What do you got? What are you with? University News, a huge competitor to us. It's a huge tabloid war that's been going on for years, and I hope you settle your differences for the good of the community. You're just some dude on a website, aren't you? I have a blog, and I use Photoshop. What do you got? College Activities Board? And that... They seem to have pep, sir. Where are you at? Syracuse University. That's a pretty bold step you're taking. So this is more of an espionage mission for you. You're infiltrating RIT. I guess being in the Big East wasn't enough for you, was it? All they have is this and hockey. You're going to take that away from me. Where is it? Which magazine? Reporter Magazine. What do you run, like a porn site? What is Reporter Magazine? The people went crazy for that. What is Reporter Magazine? Oh, it's the campus magazine. And the crowd goes batshit insane for that. What is that, like this? Is this bad? Is it really? What would seagull be? You'd have to spell it out. What's fuck again? I'm so gonna use that. I'm so gonna use this. If I see a cop pulls me over, I'll be like... Working it through. This is exciting. Look at us, man. We're in. This is a new field house. So I was up here a few years ago. And we weren't in. How's the new field house working out? What else you got here? That's it. Just this. Jesus. Jesus in here. Wow. typist is a poopy head. Look at us, man. We're in a good mood. It was the Jewish New Year. I partied my ass off. Jewish New Year's, man. I had a great time. What'd you do for Jewish New Year's? You go down to Times Square? It's a lot quieter than the regular New Year's. It's just a few Jews walking around going, what's up? We've had a little bit of a rough run in the world. It's been a little rough, but and I'm sure Mr. Giuliani went over this, about preparedness for our country. I don't want people to get nervous. I feel like we are ready for anything but, you know, rain, also wind, or illness, or bombs. But other than that, I want you to know they're on the case. Here's the thing that makes me feel bad. And again, I'm not here to just, first I want to say one thing. I don't believe this president is stupid. And a lot of people say, the president's stupid. He's not stupid. Stupid is, oh my God, I just ate soap. He's not stupid. He's a bright man. Spelled 8 like the number. When it's really 8, A-T-E. A-T-E. Not 8 the number. This job fucking blows. Wow, look at that. You guys are blowing my mind. It's like MC Escher. It's collapsing onto itself. Escher! What year is the typist at RIT? I love cock. I gotta get one of these for my car. So were you nervous that when the hurricane hit, we were not, now up here obviously you don't get hurricanes, but you never know, the disasters can strike this area too. Canada could invade, we don't know what's gonna happen. It upset me that 5 days after the hurricane hit down in New Orleans, the president's plan was for a day of prayer. I would have thought a truck of food. A day of prayer. Now, maybe I'm mistaken here, and again, I'm not a scientific expert, but isn't a hurricane officially an act of God? Isn't a day of prayer kind of redundant? Hasn't God already made up his mind on that sort of thing? So we do a day of prayer. The president has us do a day of prayer. 3 days later, Hurricane Rita hits. Somebody must have said something during the day of prayer, something like, "Is that all you got? Bitch." done at rap shows. He's in a tough place, the president. He got us into war. Listen, we're in a war right now. Here's how bizarre the war is that we're in Iraq. And we should have known this right from the get-go. When we first went into Iraq, Germany didn't want to go. Germany. The Michael Jordan of war. Took a pass. No, you guys, we'll sit this one out. Now, might not have been a moral objection. It might have been more in the lines of, like, if you have a friend who's an alcoholic who doesn't want to go with you to a bar, sort of in that sense of it's just too tempting to get back on that horse. You know? They might just be sitting behind us. Are those cluster bombs? I miss them so much. Here I come, Poland. Blah, 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 blah. He must have that on like an F2 button, a blah, blah button. Blah, 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 boop. Gentleman studying to work the CNN ticker. I wish him well. Oh, that's good. All right, I'll leave him alone from now on. So how many, here's the difficulty. I have found, New York is, let's face facts, New York is kind of a blue state, living in a relatively, and a lot of people in the blue states, a lot of the Democrats, feel like they don't have representation anymore, and they feel dispirited. They feel as though...
All that, brother!
Well said, sir. And they wonder, how they're going to regain any control. Because let's face facts. The Republicans control the executive, the judiciary, and the Congress, both houses. But to give some support to the Democrats and the blue staters, I do think that it's important to know that because of that, Jesus will soon be returning in what is called the rapture. And at that point, the saved will be spirited up to heaven in an eternal place in the kingdom of God. And the damned will be forced to walk the charred hellscape that will be the remains of earth. And at that point, I believe the Democrats will regain control of the House and the Senate. It's going to take time. They'll probably fuck that up too. Probably run Nader or something. How could they run a guy like that? I feel bad for the Democrats. People always say on the show, yeah, why don't you make fun of the Democrats? They're not doing anything. I'd love to. But all they've got left is the filibuster. Imagine a once proud party reduced to the idea that, hell, at least we can keep talking. John Kerry, folks, not a likable cat. Lieberman almost won. Look, I'm Jewish. Even I knew a Jewish guy's not going to be. His wife's name is Hadassah. Here's something you're never going to hear at the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the United States, Hadassah Lieberman. Even Lieberman didn't want to run. He was like Droopy Dog. In the debates, they'd ask him a question. Well, I don't really know what I'm doing. I would like to, maybe, I don't know. That's where Bush wins. He's focused. I'm gonna stay the course. Freedom is good. It's on the march. Freedom is delicious. Tastes like ice cream. I like it. He said when Bush is in trouble, he brings out 9/11. 9/11 is the cudgel that he waves. It's like, as far as he's concerned, it's open sesame. 9/11 is his way of saying, okay, I'm fucking up now, but remember 4 years ago? That was cool. I think he thinks he can use it for anything. 9/11. On 9/11 we were attacked. So, I should get to bang your wife. What? Man? There's some naysayers out there who think I shouldn't bang your wife. Well, that's the cut and run crowd. I mean, for God's sakes. Do they need this and you? Can't they just have you? What the hell is this? What the fuck's going on around here? Is she tired? How many words do each of you get? Depends on how many I say. Not many now, I'm too busy reading and watching. So do they, is this for, I know there's the deaf schools here, yeah? Is that that's you guys? What do you get more out of it? You like this one or you like this one? This one? Or you like some of you like this one? This one? And you like this one? This one? This one? What do you like? This one? This one? This one? This one? She's waving you up. You gotta come up this way. Ah. You know what? I'm very fond of you. You know what happened? When you were standing back there? You didn't understand her hand signals. She was moving you this way. You should learn sign. So you're young people. Do you feel hopeful? Optimistic or not optimistic? The world sucks. Unfortunately, that's college. It gets better when you start getting money. Jon Stewart not for president, and I'll tell you why. Jon Stewart is incompetent. I'm a comedian, I write jokes. We need actual good leaders. You know, it brings up an interesting point. I mean, and we should probably talk about this. It's kind of an interesting situation. The leaders right now, I feel like, are letting us down because they're not dealing with the issues that people really care about, because you all study the bell curve, right? The bell curve is, there are extremes on both sides, and in the center is the majority. And I think the electorate is very similar to that. We're the center, and those two extremes, unfortunately, are what are controlling the debate. They're the ones that are the extreme right, the extreme left. They're the ones kind of in Washington. And the ones in the middle are us who have shit to do. We have to go to class, raise kids, mow the lawn, paint houses. They're the ones with time to drive down to Florida, put duct tape over their mouths and write life on it. You know, that's... And the problem with that is, if you look at a bell curve, what you'll notice is the right side of the bell curve and the left side of the bell curve can't see each other. We're blocking their view. So they live in different worlds, where reality is subjective then. Terry Schiavo is the perfect example. On the left side, she's just cells, protoplasm, dead, 15 years. On the right side, she's a couple of Pilates classes away from joining the Rockettes. So these two sides, how can we come to any consensus when they're the leaders, when they can't see each other and they think they're living in different worlds? And so they don't have the right solutions, you know, that they can provide. It's like for school violence. You guys just got out of high school. It's a great example. On the right side of the divide, so there's a school violence problem. Kids come into school with guns. And so on this side of the bell curve, they say, you know what the solution to that is? Let's put up the 10 Commandments. That was the proposal from a senator. Those kids bring guns to school, put the 10 Commandments right up there. So the next time they come in with an AK-47, they'll go right up to the front desk and go, oh, thou shalt not kill. I feel like a complete idiot. I mean, honestly, if you think posting the 10 Commandments is going to keep people from committing violent acts, you think posting employees must wash hands is keeping the piss out of your Happy Meals. It's not. And on the left side, their solution was, well, let's just get rid of all guns. Because nobody ever died from violence before guns showed up. Man is inherently violent. Getting rid of guns just means a lot more people are going to get hit in the head with rocks. So the real solution lies within the middle of the bell curve, but nobody talks about it because those people aren't in control. The actual solution to violence in high schools is simple. Convince 10th graders that high school isn't forever. That the eccentricities and vulnerabilities that they feel in 10th grade that make them weak and easy pickings and easy prey will actually become strengths when they get out of high school and go into adulthood and the whole paradigm switches on its head. So the way to cure it would be simple. Field trips. And not to planetariums and museums and bullshit like that. If you want to end high school violence, take 10th graders on field trips to 25-year high school reunions. Just walk them around the room. See that sad, fat, bald, crying, drunk motherfucker in the corner? Captain of the football team, that's right. The only place to call him captain now is Long John Silver's. Kind of a sad story. The solutions are out there, but see, we've been taught on the extremes we're fighting religion on one side and science on the other, and neither is complete in and of itself. There is an intelligent designer who created us. Oh, who created the intelligent designer? La 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 la. We're just blobs of protoplasm that got luckier than other shit that's growing on the bathroom floor. How do you explain conscience and soul? Blah, 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 blah. It's all combined. And people that put their faith in one or the other with equal dogma are unfortunately the ones in charge. And so it's a drag. I mean, I always find that, and that's how they end up using issues that are of no import. You know, one of the biggest issues in the last election was, which blew my mind, here we are at war. And one of the big issues in the election was gay marriage. Gay marriage, really? Gay marriage? I can understand gay marriage being an issue if it was, I don't know, mandatory. If the proposal that they made was, everyone has to gay marry. But I'm already married to a woman. Well, fuck it. You gotta gay marry now. Okay, that I could see as an issue. But gay people wanting to get married? Isn't that wanting to form more stable units? Families that put together? What is the fear of the gay agenda that has so upset people? What do people think that if gay people are given a place at the table, they'll be so convincing we'll all end up blowing them? What is the issue? You know, I'm straight. But you've made such a convincing argument. What is the gay agenda? As far as I can tell, it's this. They would like to get married. They would like to fight in the army. March in the St. Patrick's Day parade. Be in the Boy Scouts. They would like to wear uniforms, is what I'm saying. Now, the St. Patrick's Day parade, look, I don't want to offend anybody, and I honestly, the St. Patrick's Day parade, I understand. Gay people should not be allowed to march in the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and I'll tell you why. Again, gay people are very flamboyant, and I think you can't argue that. And you don't want anything to take away from the dignity of that parade. You don't want some gay guy checking you out while you're pissing behind a dumpster in your cop uniform. Gay people aren't allowed to fight openly in the Army, which I can understand. The Army is flush with recruits, and they can afford to be very discriminating right now. What is the issue of gay people fighting in the Army? What is the Army afraid going to happen? Private, shoot that man. I can't, he's adorable. You're killing me, dude. You know what I think the Army's really afraid of? 1,000 gay guys with M16s going, who'd you call a faggot? As far as the Boy Scouts are concerned, let's face it, the Boy Scouts is already the gayest organization in America. The definition of gay isn't same-sex intercourse, it's thousands of young boys wearing neckerchiefs, eagerly awaiting next year's jamboree. Where do you think the word camp comes from? It absolutely, and it's not, you know what? A lot of the people that have issues with gay marriage, they're not bad people. They're just, their fear is being preyed on. Their ignorance, and it's not ignorance born of stupidity. It's ignorance born of inexperience. I grew up in an area that gay people, we didn't know what they were. Central Jersey, blue-collar town. That is a mistake, by the way. Applauding Central Jersey. I appreciate the sentiment, but we all know it's kind of a shithole. I was raised there. But they get to prey on people's ignorance of the issues. The idea that somehow, I mean, let's face facts. If you're not gay, you're not going to be talked into it. It is what it is. Your mind can be changed. Your heart can be swayed. Your dick is unbelievably stubborn. I have an illustrative point to this issue. We have, you know how like people get tapes from the internet, or like they download a file and they pass around like, oh, look at this guy's hair is on fire. It's funny. You know, pass around. So we have a tape back at the office, and I swear to you this is true. It's a security camera footage of a man going into a storeroom and having sex with a piñata. You guys took that pretty well. I gotta say. We have tape of a guy having sex with a piñata, and you guys are like, and? What kind of crowd am I dealing with here? Yes? When does the story get weird? And it wasn't one of those Paris Hilton type tapes. I mean, this wasn't one that the guy made with the piñata. Like, it wasn't like, you know, I'm sure this guy is not proud of his proclivity. It's not like he's like, oh, damn, I banged that piñata. Oh, shit, you know. That crepe paper was all blue and red, and I was like, damn. This guy is driven to, you know, I'm sure his friends set up the security. I'm sure they would come in on Monday mornings and be like, what's going on with the piñatas? So, I think he was having sex with the piñata. Maybe that's how they get the candy in these things. I don't really know. Maybe that's why they blindfold you before you hit it. Hold on. I want to get one more Snickers bar in here. Hold on. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Good piñata. No tilde? Dude, you don't have a tilde? E. There you go. But the point of the story is, there's not really a point to the story. I just wanted to tell you guys we have that tape. It's used to divide, and it's a great technique, and it's very effective, and it does good things, and that's, you know, again, it's on a religious basis, and now 9/11 is used to divide, and the whole idea of the Iraq War is used to divide at a time when we really could use better. I mean, clearly our military is unbelievable. These guys are putting in ridiculous hours, ridiculous tours of duty. And I've been to, you know, go to West Point sometime and meet these guys, and you'll be madder because you'll realize what an unbelievable resource they are. And these people are top of the line of the top of the line. And it's a resource that should be meted out clearly more carefully. I mean, you get the idea that we went in there for a theory. You know, weapons of mass destruction. Well, there were none. And you literally get the idea when they came back to the president and said, hey man, we couldn't find any weapons of mass destruction. His reaction was, well, I'll be. Supposed to have ties to Al-Qaeda. There were no ties to Al-Qaeda in Iraq. As a matter of fact, here's how crazy it got. In 1998, Osama bin Laden was approached by Saddam Hussein to have an operational relationship, to work together. And Osama bin Laden turned down Saddam Hussein. Turned him down. Which brings up an interesting point. How big a dick must you be before Osama bin Laden says, I can't work with this guy. I'm a homicidal maniac, but this guy gives me the creeps. And not to blame the president completely. I mean, it is true that a lot of Democrats voted for it as well. And the truth is, while Iraq didn't have weapons of mass destruction or ties to Al-Qaeda, Iran is currently working on a nuclear bomb and does have pretty strong ties to Al-Qaeda. So, you know, he really was only one letter off. And that's not so bad. So we continue to just try and build our military up as the educational system falls slowly to pieces, which is, it's interesting because now as the bombs get smarter, our children seem to get dumber. And in the next war, the bombs will be way too smart and valuable. We'll just have to drop illiterate school children on the country we're fighting. Wouldn't that make for a nice video from the war room? You'll see coming up, you'll see the Iraqi War Ministry and that little white blip headed towards the building. That's Jimmy Johnson from Bronx Elementary. He's 9. He's got a can of spray paint. He's going to vandalize the roof. Here he goes. He's going to write "Eat Me" right in the ceiling. Hold on. Here he goes. E-E-T. And I don't really fear, you know, the consequences of this kind of stuff because I know we'll be okay. We've got a color-coded terror system. That's great. And we have the emergency broadcast system, so that's going to save a lot of lives. What if you're not watching TV or listening to the radio? Do they just come to your door? This is a test. You know what the emergency broadcast system is a test of? Your remote control. they just work on shit to make, isn't there some way, I thought technology was supposed to save us. Do you know what they've recently done? They recently reconstituted the 1918 avian flu, the one that was the pandemic that went across the world. They reconstituted it. They made it come alive again just to see if there was anything they could learn. Hey, I have one quick lesson. Don't reconstitute the deadly virus. What are these scientists doing? In 40 years, do you know the one thing they've cured? Erectile dysfunction. Polio was the 50s, then now it's impotence. Okay, so they cured impotence. Now they're just trying to make sure that you can have a hard-on all weekend. You see the commercials? Don't you think people should say, okay, we're hard. Move on to cancer. It's they got guys working on cloning. There's 6 billion people in the world. Somewhere in a basement, a scientist is going, I just figured out how to make people. Sex is working. They spent billions of dollars. Remember Dolly the sheep? Billions of dollars to clone a sheep. To make a sheep that looks identical to another sheep. Isn't that the whole point of sheep? Don't they all look identical? Isn't that why we count them when we're going to sleep? They didn't look alike, that wouldn't work. 1, 2, oh shit. That guy had a unibrow. They're the ones that are going to make us go away. Not war, not famine, science. Those guys are the ones that are going to take us out of here because it advances because it can. It just doesn't stop. That's why I'm not really much of a conservationist. I think it's too arrogant. The idea that we're going to be here long enough to run out of shit seems very unlikely to me. People say, save the earth. The earth will be fine. We're the ones leaving. As far as the earth is concerned, we're a mild case of eczema. And I'll tell you how I know. Science just marches on with no idea. Did you know right now in Brookhaven, Long Island, they have a giant particle accelerator, super collider, that is shooting gold ions at hyperspeed at each other. And the reason they're doing that is they postulated that these are the conditions that created the Big Bang. Now just think about that for a second. A scientist said, I think I figured out how the universe started. Let's go do it. Let's give it a whirl. And you know what's fucked up? They're going to. It's gonna happen. Man will leave this earth not with sadness. The last thing that we say won't be, my God, what have we done? The last words man will utter on this earth are, hey, it worked. Because the limitation of science is the limitation of us. We're idiots. We got swept up by the Macarena. We don't know anything. For everybody working on cures and things, and now there's 10 other dudes in a back room trying to grow a dick on a cow's head. You know these people. You room with them. They are the scientists of the future. This is not healthy. And technology was supposed to save us. The technological revolution. The internet. Dude, the internet is nothing. It's another way to shop and jerk off. That's all it is. It's technology that already exists, combined. It's as stupid as a camera phone. It's a TV and a phone. And they sell it like it's this amazing revolution. But it's all marketing. Surf the web. Ride the information superhighway into cyberspace. Because what are they going to say? Sit in your room and type. Microsoft has that commercial. Where do you want to go today? Outside? But they got us. We feel like now we can't live without it. Like it's this thing that exists that's bigger than us. We're not bigger than it. I knew when they had us at Y2K. Don't act like you weren't scared. You were scared. Y2K, you did that Y2K countdown New Year's Eve, didn't you? 10, 9, 8. Is India still there? What were we afraid of? Let's just think rationally for one moment what it was that we were afraid of on Y2K that had the entire world paralyzed with fear.
At midnight, in the year 2000, all of the computers will fail, and the world will be forced to live as it did in 1982.
I can't be hungry like the wolf again. I'm too shy. That's all it was. It's ridiculous. And I'm not saying don't have a computer. I'm not saying don't join it in. Just understand its role. We can still make butter. And build houses and farm and do shit. You just may not be able to instant message your buddy. And I have a computer. I have a Mac, an Apple computer, I gotta say. That is the most enthusiastic reaction I have ever heard. I think maybe all the Mac users in the world are sitting in this room right now. Mac is so the redheaded stepchild of the computer world. That's very, I'm shocked and pleased. Because when you go to a PC store, you feel like an ass. Because it's like, there'll be like Doric columns rising up, there'll be a guy playing piano, people passing out crab cakes, rolling out new software that teaches you how to be a fighter jet pilot, you know, and all this crazy shit. You'd be like, do you guys also have like Mac stuff? Absolutely, sir. Igor?
Yes, follow me. Yes. Down into the cellar. Learn to spell to music.
They think they make it up to you by making the iPod smaller and smaller to the point where literally there will be an iPod suppository. You'll get 1,000 songs you can carry in your ass. You literally will see people just training themselves to do this. Oh, I don't like that song. Oh, that's a good song. That's not a good song. Oh, that's a good song. Yeah, that's my favorite song. I love that band. Oh, that's a good band. Everybody. And what's great about what the computer world has done is they've created technology that is so far advanced to normal human understanding that they can do anything and say anything to us about it, and we have no idea what they're talking about. And so they have free reign over us in terms of anything, technical obsolescence, anything. They can do anything. I went in, I play games. That's all I do on my computer. I play games. I play the games where you shoot, you get the big gun and you go in and the aliens come down and you blah, 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 and then you go into your wife at 4 in the morning and you go, I saved the world! And then your wife goes, were you on the computer for 9 hours? And then you go, but I saved the world. So I get these games, you know, and I'm playing them on the thing, and they keep advancing technologically, the computer games, as you go along. So at a certain point, you can't really, you know, they get better than your computer. So that's what happened to me. So I go into the Mac store, and I'm looking for a new computer. And the amazing thing for me is I don't know how computers work at all. And yet I sit and I have a discussion with the computer guy about why this computer is so much better. It's got 2 gigs, 673 megahertz processor. Really? That's good? As far as I know, there's literally 8 really smart gerbils in there. Just running around pressing buttons. If he said to me, this computer's unbelievable, 12 gerbils, it's not 8. Yours has 8, this has 12. It's a really good computer. I'd be like, all right. So they can say anything. So the guy says to me, this is the favorite thing that, because any of these little fuckers that work at these computers, you know, 17 years old and, ooh, you went to DeVry for 6 months, so I'm your bitch. Okay, fine. So, you know, they're so arrogant. And so the guy says to me, this new G4 has the same computing power that they used to launch the space shuttle. Oh, that's good, because I have a shuttle at home and I won't get off the ground. So I buy it. I bring it home, the new G4 silver 2 gig megahertz thing. It's the newest, freshest ever. I bring it home, and man, it works great. I put that computer game in, and is your computer ever happier than when you put a new game in it, put it in that little DVD slot, and it just oh, thank you. Oh, it's been too long. So you're just on there, you know, you go online and some 13-year-old is just kicking your ass, you know. It's great. So I finish it, I'm done, I'm blah, blah, blah. 5-6 months go by, new game comes out. This time it's got a different graphics engine, different accelerator, I guess, in the way that it works. So I bring it home and I'm all excited. Doom 3, I think it was called, and I bring it home and a fine game. Put it in the computer, start to play it, and who would believe it? But it turns out that this new computer game is more complicated than a space shuttle launch. Now, if you were a piece of technology that is used in such unbelievably important and life-threatening missions as the space shuttle, and you had a piece of software placed in you that you didn't recognize, would you pop up a diagnostic menu to perhaps interface with your user so that you could go down a series of checkpoints to discern where the issue is and what might be done to rectify this situation? Or would you fucking freeze? Alt, escape, delete, escape, alt, Apple, alt, delete, escape, alt, F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6. Escape, enter, 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 escape. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I hate fucking computers. I hate fucking computers. I hate fucking computers. Is he still out there? Yeah. What's he doing? Looks like he's rubbing his balls on your monitor. Cool. Wait a minute. So finally I do the only thing you can do. Unplug. Plug it back in. Now there's a message. Did you shut me down improperly? I am so disappointed in you. Shut shutting me down improperly. What kind of an asshole are you? So now the computer is useless to me. It's been 6 months. 6. So I bring it back to the Mac store. I swear to you, I walk into the store with this G4, hot off the line, space shuttle launching computer. The guy behind the counter, after 6 months, looks at me like I just walked in there with a Civil War musket. Oh, dude, is that the old G4? Oh, shit. In 6 months, I've gone from being on the cutting edge of technology to being Amish. We got the new G5 in. It's fucking awesome. I used it to launch the Mars probe. So I think we should concentrate on more humanist pursuits. More getting along with each other. Of course, that doesn't always work out too well either. That's why, you know what's interesting I found? Show business is dominated by minorities. It's got a lot of, show business, a lot of Jews, blacks, gays, Hispanics, because it's a way for people not in the majority to kind of find a little bit of, a little acceptance on the thing. Jews we're in show business, a ton of us. Because we know when the shit hits the fan, when the banking system collapses and everybody turns and looks at us, you're going to be on and be able to be like, we're very entertaining people. See, the burden on the minority is to ingratiate yourself into a pluralistic society. It's part of the issue. Black people have the same issue. There's a lot of black comedians. Very funny. But, for instance, illustrative of the point, where there are very few black comedians? Africa. They don't feel as much pressure to be funny there. Whereas here, that's why I don't understand, there's tension between the Jewish community and the black community. Jews and blacks fighting each other. For what? Jews and blacks, we come from the same history. We should get together and get whitey. Wrong crowd? I'm sorry. Jews and blacks come from the same history. 2,000 years of persecution. We've just expressed our sufferings differently as people. Blacks developed the blues. Jews complain, we just never thought of putting it to music. It's very similar. We whine, we just have no real sense of rhythm. That's our problem. My grandmother actually wrote a blues song called Gee, It's Drafty in Here. Maybe you heard the B-side, Now It's Too Hot. She was a pain in my ass. I'm actually surprised black people even talk to us. Because we have done, from slavery on up. It is not slavery, then segregation. Even now, they can't have anything cool. White people always got, hey, what are you guys doing? What kind of music is that? That's really good music. Yeah, that's great. White people take everything good that black people have, and we whiteify it. We fuck it all up. Black people gave us jazz, beautiful, improvisational jazz, and white people heard that and went, my God, that is amazing. Let's give it to Kenny G and see what he does with it. Slang, street language. How many white kids hear street language and think, that sounds nice. So they just started using it. Hey man, how was that party? Oh, that party was off the fascism. You're white. What's up? If you're white, stop talking like that. Just stop it. It has no cultural relevance for you. You might as well talk like a pirate. From now on, instead of doing that, talk like a pirate. Just remind yourself to talk like a pirate. Hey man, how was the party? It was a mighty fine party it was. It was a soiree with mead and wenches, and I loved it.
That's the religious headgear. A lot of Jews wear those. Those are called yarmulkes.
Close enough, dude. By the way, they're called yarmulkes, not Jew beanies. Can you imagine if we literally wore Jamaicans on our heads? Jews just walk around. German, we be German. Baruch atah with you, German. Why do you have to wear shit on your head to prove you're religious? Why is religion so exclusive? I'm wearing something on my head. I am more pious than you. Really? Look at me. I'm wearing something on my head and offering God a delicious beverage. I am more pious than you. Every religion has these bizarre wardrobe idiosyncrasies. Look at the Pope. Nice man, but purely in a fashion sense. Guy's a hat choice away from being the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Not so funny when it's your guy, huh? All right. Jew, 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 ha, 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 Pope. Pope is the most loved man that nobody agrees with I've ever seen in my life. Guy's been there for, you know, he's got all these dictates. If you really read what his dictates are, even Catholics are like, say that again? Draws 100,000 people, the Pope. We love you, Pope!
Be celibate.
You rock! There's a new Pope, Pope Benedict. He was Cardinal Ratzinger of Germany. It's an interesting fact about Cardinal Ratzinger. When he was a kid, he was in the Hitler Youth as a kid, and now he's the Pope. That's nice. That's good. That's good. I'll tell you why. Because normally, Hitler Youth is a real resume killer. Normally that just ends the interview right there. Oh, I see you went to seminary right here. That's great. A few years of studying and what's the Hitler Youth thing? Oh, Hitler Youth. Yeah, that was, we were kids. That was fucking crazy. It's like the Boy Scouts, you know, without Jews. But it all seeks, you know, the religious thing is, it's so amazing because people kill over those differences. And it's always in the name of God, the benevolent God that they claim is on their side. God bless America. America exceptionalism. God blesses us more than anybody else. Really? Well, then why did God bury our fuel under those fucking maniacs? Why isn't all our oil under New Hampshire? I mean, God doesn't sound, here's the thing that God did that seems like it wasn't so good, because, you know, we're in the Middle East right now, and this is the hotbed of fanaticism, and will always be the hotbed of fanaticism, because God in his ultimate wisdom decided to put all his monotheistic religions in like a 2-block radius. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all began in Jerusalem, all began with like Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses all went to the same high school. Do you see what I'm saying? It's ugly over there. You go, has anybody ever been to Israel? You been? It's freaky, man. It's not Jews like we know. It's not the, hey, will you help me fill out my taxes Jews. It's a whole different Jew. It's you get off the plane in Israel and immediately they're like,
Welcome to Israel, the Holy Land.
I'm from America, home of the Whopper. But it is that arrogance that God blesses you and your people alone over others that causes all, because at a certain point, religious friction gets to a place that you can't go any further. You literally get to a certain place in the argument where you have to say, well, no, because the Bible says it is so. So a Muslim would say, well, actually, no, the Quran says it so. And a Jewish guy would say, well, no, the Old Testament says it so. And then they all stand around looking at each other until somebody shoots. And it's all arrogance. Read the Bible. It's not about God. It's about us. It's our story. And it's always about God blessing us and creating us in His image. God created man in His image. Really? Have you ever looked at your scrotum? That's His work. And God said, let there be life. Really? Was that what He said? Or maybe He said, oh shit, it's due tomorrow. And I'm just talking about religious fanaticism, which is a whole other insanity. I'm talking about even just day-to-day religious worship in the way that we just blindly accept certain realities about religious life that don't even really make much sense. Even in the way that we celebrate religious holidays shows our own limitations. As people, to not be able to accept the real meaning of whatever it is we're supposed to be accepting. Easter is a great example. Here's the holiday of Easter, as far as I can tell. It is a celebration of God sending His only Son to earth to take the sins of man upon Himself, to die, to be resurrected. And if you believe in that resurrection, then you will also have eternal salvation in His kingdom. And that is Easter. And we hear that and say, okay. But what if also we paint and hide eggs? See, this is what I'm talking about. And for what? I mean, being a Jew doesn't make any more sense either. This is what that's about. This kind of rationale. Here's the rules of being Jewish. See if it's worth that. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Don't eat pork. Is that the word of God, or is it just pigs trying to outsmart everybody? What did God give a shit about pork? I think the pigs learned ventriloquism. Some guy's coming at him with a hatchet, and the pigs are like, this is God, get away from the pigs. They're not kosher. Is that a word? Shut up, they'll believe it. Every religion's got its rules, man. Catholics have the toughest. Don't masturbate. How'd you find out about that? I'm God, I'm everywhere. Damn. What about pork? Yeah, go ahead, have a sandwich. Catholics can eat the pork, they just can't play with it. That's where they've drawn the line. Wouldn't it be great if somebody came up on stage and said, "Masturbation is the light," and just threw a Playboy up on stage? We got to do better than this, people. That's what's so fucked up about all this, that weird exclusionary thing. I accept it, but I don't dig it, that's for sure, because it just, it spoils things. You know, it's interesting. Whenever you feel, this is just it's a quick parable, and then we'll get back to the thing. It's a stupid story, but it sort of is an example of how things change and get back to, you know, I was asking earlier, are you hopeful? And everyone, the world sucks, blah, blah, blah. And at times it does seem that way, but right after 9/11, I lived down by the World Trade Center, and it really did feel like you weren't going to laugh anymore, you weren't going to smile anymore, nothing was ever going to be the same, that your soul was crushed, and life wouldn't go on. And Giuliani, to his great credit, sort of put the city on his back and kind of carried us through a little bit until everybody kind of just kept saying, just act normal, just return to normal. If you just act normal, it'll come and life will fulfill itself in all of its vividness and color and everything else once again. And here's the example of how I believe that is true and how it can happen. So about 5 weeks after, I'm still feeling a little fragile, and we're still feeling like the world is still in black and white and a little bit of shade of gray. And I come out of my building one day, and there's a homeless man sitting on my stoop. And it's dirty and smelly, and he was jerking off on my stoop. And I remember thinking, yeah, we're gonna be okay. Because it's about getting along, dudes. See, I'm Jewish, my wife is Catholic, and we have a little boy who's 15 months, so we've decided to raise him to be sad, really sad. She's a vet tech. My wife is always bringing home animals that we have to keep, and then letting me know what's wrong with them afterwards. Because she works in a vet's office, all the animals we get are like, do you know when you go to the supermarket and they have those shopping carts with the dented cans? Everything should be like, oh honey, can we keep this dog? Oh, all right, let's keep it. And 2 weeks later, she'll be like, you know it has 2 anuses, right? Okay. So we have a cat with half a uterus. And so the cat goes into heat. And if you've ever heard a cat in heat, A, it's hilarious, and B, it's very loud. A cat in heat is something that goes like, we live in an apartment. You know, like when the cat goes into heat, she climbs to the top of the highest point in the house, which is the refrigerator, and she puts out her butt like a radar dish and begins her transmission day. Then she does my favorite part, which is she checks to see if it's working. I know what she's doing. She's the only cat in the house. And I'm not fucking her. Seriously. But I feel bad for cats because cats are, you know, they're in a difficult position because veterinary medicine has basically advanced to the point where it's incredibly sophisticated. It's like human medicine. Incredibly sophisticated and incredibly expensive. And cats are free. So it puts them in a really tenuous bargaining spot. Because people don't cat shop. Hey, where'd you get your cat? Oh, we went shopping, I got a really good one. You know, it's always, hey man, how'd you get your cat? I think it just showed up one day. I gave it some milk. That was like 19 years ago. So let's say you got a cat, and let's say your cat gets hurt. Let's say your cat blows out a knee. if cats have knees, which I don't really know. But if they do, let's say your cat is, running on AstroTurf and cuts and gets a paw caught in the turf and, So you bring your cat into the vet and the vet's like, all right, we did an MRI and the cat has a torn anterior cruciate ligament and a medial collateral ligament. We're going to do a total reconstruction. What we do is we fly a guy in from Colorado. We're going to take a tendon from the cat's forearm and we're going to attach it with 4 titanium plugs and tighten it down. And then, after 6 to 8 weeks of a hydrotherapy program, where we try and loosen it to a certain point, we go back in arthroscopically, we remove the titanium plugs, and then 6 to 8 months of therapy and possibly some other surgical procedures, your cat should be around 80-90%, and we feel pretty good about that. And people's reaction is always the same. Wow, you can do that? Wow, do you have any other cats? Because cats are free. So I ended on a little story about my dog. That you're not allowed to have dogs up here, right? You're allowed to have a dog? Oh, you're kidding me. Is he like a work dog? He's a good dog. He's showing me his ass. I think that's a good sign. It means he's enjoying himself, right? Is he a garbage eater? My dog's a crazy garbage eater. You ever want to have a good time? Watch your dog's eyes when you're putting like dinner plates, when you're scraping them into the garbage. Just look at the look of just absolute incredulity in your dog's eyes that you're throwing away gold. He'll just sit there. What the fuck? So on my birthday last year, the dog gets in the garbage, and it was really heavy-duty dinner, steak, cake, the whole thing. So the dog has himself a tremendous feast. And around 3:30 in the morning, the dog gets, I guess what veterinarians would call explosive diarrhea. And I mean, you turn on the light and just see. Or just lying in bed. No. Although for a second, you just feel bad for the dog, but mostly it's just, no. And then we hear a sound. It's very surprising after someone's had explosive diarrhea. It goes something like this. No! Oh my God. But for a second, you're a little relieved. Feeling like, well, at least we don't have to get up. But unfortunately, apparently, eating your own explosive diarrhea doesn't sit well with your stomach. So about 10 minutes later, we hear, followed immediately by over and over and over. The first 3 hours are hilarious. But I realized as this was going on, my dog has no short-term memory. This is literally what's going on in his head. I am so sick. Oh my God, food. Take care of yourselves. very much. You are an awesome crowd. This was a great night. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. Get home safe.